Well, welcome back folks, and welcome to the Canary Islands, more specifically Lanzarote. Family holiday for me this one, so I thought I'd bring you along. I wasn't going to do any filming, but I changed my mind. Now some of you may be wondering what's the best way to get fishing when you go on holiday. Like I say, this is a family holiday for us. I pack light. I always bring fishing gear with me. We're not going after the big stuff. I'm not brought big beach casters. I haven't paid any excess luggage. Everything that I bring with me fits in my normal checked luggage or carry-on. Like I say, it's a family trip. It's not going to be a fishing frenzy, but I do like to bring fishing gear with me when I come. Here we go then. So this is my setup for the week. So we'll go around in a big circle, shall we? Backpack. Any backpack will do. I've got a Rapala one. It was given to me by a good friend of mine as a present. That's honestly been all around the world with me. I use it as my sort of carry-on bag wherever I go. For the plane, I'll pack it with snacks, books, whatever you fancy. Bucket hats. Bucket hats, UV tops. So we've got a UV index of 9+ this week. It is going to be El Scorchio. I'll explain that one later. There's a sample that I've got for something that I'm toying with for later on in the year. Really important when you're lure fishing, decent set of Polaroid sunglasses. GoPro. Obviously if you're not filming you don't need to worry about that. Couple of bits, just a pair of scissors. These are circlip pliers, but you can use these as well for unhooking fish, etc. Just come in a little handy carry case that you can clip onto you. So I take them with me. Just really handy to have when you're on the rocks, stuff like that. If you get into difficulty, they've got, you know, snips on them, they've got all sorts, you can cut yourself free, blah blah blah, all that. And a small disgorger as well. So on this trip I've got 2 rods which I'll come on to in a minute, but I've just brought the 1 reel. So this is the Achios Spyro RS4000. I brought 2 spools with me. I'll primarily be using the braid spool, so that's got £20 Barkley Whiplash on it, and on this one I think is £12 Innova Silk. I brought that spool purely because I may need some mono later on for tying things like drop shot rigs, etc., and that is smaller than any spool that I had to bring with me. Plus, obviously, if you are fishing really rocky ground, things like that, mono will come in handy. Little float kit, as you'll see, it's never been out of the bag. You see a lot of the locals float fishing and stuff with little bits of bread, etc. And then we'll come around to the rods, because that'll explain the terminal gear. So, 2 setups for me. I've got the Achios Nanotech travel spinning rod. It's a 9-foot rod, 10 to 50 gram lure rod. And then I've also got, which is another new rod for me, is the BlackRock Ultralight 7-foot, and that is 0.5 to 7 grams I think it is. So very, very light rod. LRF, something that's new to me, but it's definitely something that I want to get more into this year. What I've got here is 2 boxes of lures, etc. So this is the heavier box. Just open this up for you. In here I've got a selection of little paddle tails. We've got 35 gram, I think those are 35 gram little squid heads. Selection of metals up to 80 grams, so a little bit heavy for what we're fishing, but there we go. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff you can choose from in there. A couple of top water bits and pieces, poppers, etc, etc. Pretty much anything you could wish to chuck at it. This one right here, those little metals, you can see how battered that is. Always proved deadly. They're about 20 grams. I buy them packs of 10 off Amazon. They're not flashy, they're not expensive, and as you can see it's probably due a new treble as well. But yeah, those absolute killers. So you don't have to bring fancy stuff, you don't have to bring 30, 40, 50 quid Rapalas and pachinkos and all that sort of stuff if you don't want to. And then the light gear, so like I say, that little rod is rated 0.5 to I think it's 7 or 8 grams. So I've got some little 3 gram jig heads, size 4 hooks, and then in here I've just got a variety of little plastics. I bought some of these I think are Fox Rage stuff, some of them are just, you know, generic eBay, Amazon finds. I've got the little 10 gram metal. Again, I've used that quite a lot on the, doesn't work quite so well on the 10 to 50 gram rod, but that's always done me really well on the littler bass, etc, etc. Got a few drop shot weights in there. Again, new to me, but hopefully we'll get a chance to give them a go. Couple of ready tied size 12 hooks. Like I say, if we get plenty of fishing done, I wouldn't mind just freelining some bread and bits and pieces like that around some structures, some rocky outcrops, all that. And then, like I say, we've just got a selection of tiny little jig heads. I think those are something like 2 gram, and tiny little plastics. So that right there is my holiday fishing setup. In total, weighs about no more than 2 kilos. You can easily fit that lot in your case. You're good to go. So with all that said and done, I'm going to get all this lot packed away in my backpack, ready to go. And yeah, the next time you see me, we'll be heading out fishing somewhere. Well, welcome back. Welcome to the last day of our holidays and the first chance I've got to come fishing. Well, what to tell you, we've had one hell of a week. So I had a few days chilling with the family, and then the first day that I was going to come out fishing, said to Sarah, I says, oh, you know, Jack had a bit of an upset night, sleep, so stayed in the hotel. I says, oh, it's alright, I'm not going to go in the morning. I'll go after lunch when the weather starts cooling off. I'll go in the evening. Got to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and Jack took a bit of a turn, so we went back to the room in the aircon. He decided to have a fit, stop breathing, go blue, limp, floppy the lot. 600 quid trip to A&E in the back of an ambulance. It turns out it was a febrile seizure, so he's got a bit of a fever from somewhere. Body temperature's got too hot, and yeah, he's just had a fit. But yeah, shit's scary. And since then, I've sort of stayed at home, or stayed at the hotel with Sarah and Jack. So, last day of our holidays, and we're out fishing. We've come out. You can see the harbour, Porto del Carmen harbour behind me. So, if you're wondering why I've got a sweat on, it's because I've walked. Our hotel's up there somewhere. Walked down into the harbour, had a bit of a mooch around there, and watched a ray swimming in the shallows, and then made it all the way back up here. And we're going to go and fish possibly the next bay around, down on the shoreline down here. I think it's important to note, I've already mentioned that I've got fishing licence, which is required for fishing in Spain, but there are other rules and regulations to follow as well. And it's always worth having a look and seeing what those rules and regulations are, the country that you're going fishing in. So you're not allowed to fish on beaches where swimmers are present between the hours, I think it's 7 AM and 10 PM. So basically the hours of daylight. You can't fish around ports and harbours and the surrounding areas. Now I don't quite know what classes as the surrounding areas. I'm not sure whether I can fish off the back wall of that harbour there, so we might have a look at that on the way back. But I don't really fancy a run-in with the Spanish police over minor details like that, because as we all know, running with foreign authorities are not battles that you regularly win. It's about a 40-minute walk in total from the hotel out to the mark that I've chosen to fish. So yeah, I think we are going to head, here we go, somewhere, possibly that point over there, I think. Just because from here, I don't know if the GoPro will pick it up, but you can see the lighter coloured water around here. I'd say that's probably 3-4 meters deep, whereas over on the other point over there it looks a lot deeper. I'm probably going to fish for a couple of hours really, until it gets crazy hot. I have got a 2 litre bottle of water with me to keep hydrated, and I'll see you guys when we're down on the mark. Well, we've come a little bit further around than I intended to, mainly because there's a guy just over the way there that I got distracted by. He was fishing with a float set up, and I thought, oh, I wonder if he knows what he's doing better more than me. However, having said that, since I've got here, I haven't seen him catch anything. I've seen his float bob a couple of times, but I can't tell if that's just ducking behind waves. But yeah, we've come a little bit further around, and behind me is quite a shallow, I say shallow, it's probably still a 2 to 3 meters. It's nowhere near as deep as some of the other marks I saw as we were walking along. So what I am actually going to do is, I think I'm going to set up with the heavier setup. I'm going to put a couple of surface poppers on. The wind is coming over the tops, and it's sort of, well, it's in my face at the minute. Just while it's nice and bright, we'll work the tops a little bit with the heavier surface lures, and then what we'll do is we'll slowly make our way back around towards the port, towards the hotel. And as we get to some of the deeper marks, we'll try with some of the lighter stuff, and we'll just mix it up and see what we can find. I suppose while I'm stood here as well, I ought to just give a brief mention about the hat, because I'm not just wearing a bright fluffy unicorn hat for no reason. The hat is actually merchandise for a social rugby team called the Flaming Unicorns, set up on behalf of a mental health charity called Tough Enough to Care. Their forte is to go into places where, you know, mental health is a bit still taboo. Certainly in men's mental health is still taboo. So armed forces, rugby clubs, you know, these macho manly places where, you know, you're supposed to be tough, or your outward perception has to be tough, but trying to break down the misconception that suffering from mental health issues is a weakness, really. But yeah, Flaming Unicorns is one of the ways that they go out, play social rugby, spread the message, and try and raise a bit of funds to support the charity. So I guess it is a daft hat, but with quite a serious message. So on that note, let's get set up. Right, well, that's us all set up. As I said, I've got the Achios Nanotech travel spinning rod, Spyro RS4000, and I've just got a little Nobi Amazon 15 with a little rattle. It's one of my favourite bass lures, this is. Little lightweight surface popper. We'll go and get us set up, get down on the rocks. Let's have a few chucks, shall we? Right, well, as I suspected, no luck with the surface popper, but I think what we're going to do is head round onto the next pinnacle just over there, head round there, a bit deeper water, put something a bit heavier on. We'll work our way back round, like I say, back round towards the hotel, and then when we get close to the hotel, there's some big deep water marks there, some nice little rock pools and bits and pieces. We'll crack the lighter gear out and we'll have a go over there. Right, well, mark number 2 then, and as I mentioned, we're going to go for something a little bit heavier. This time I'm going to be fishing with this little imitation squid. It's just a 35 gram jig head with a squid looking plastic on it. Again, another Amazon special. I have never fished with these. I like the look of them and bought some, as you do on a Friday night when you're sat at home. Hopefully you can see behind me. If I bring you down to the water's edge, let's go down here a little bit. Oh dear, the bloke's just come down. I think he was hoping to get naked. But yeah, if I bring you down here, turn you around, hopefully behind me you can see already that the water is considerably deeper in these parts, probably I'd say 5 or 6 meters straight off the ledge. So we're going to let this sink, work the bottom a little bit more, work around the ledges with it, and just see what we can do. See if we can winkle something out. We'll probably have another 20 minutes, half an hour working here, and then head on to the next ledge. Alright, well, come around a little bit further. Hopefully you can just see there's a few nice little gullies and things like that we can work off. So I think we're going to go set up over on that little peninsula there, and then we can fish out into the deeper water. We can fish all around that little crag there and into this gully here. I think it's probably still a little bit too windy to get the light set up, but this is probably the last little sort of pinnacle peninsula that we're going to fish before we get round into the safety and sort of serenity, if you like, shelter, that's the word I was looking for, shelter of the bay with the port in. You know me guys, I make a plan, it's rare that I ever stick to it. 15-20 minutes or so just on this point, working the heavier gear again, and then yeah, we will then head back, otherwise I'm going to get in trouble for staying out too long. Well, I don't know if the mics will pick it up because I've got the covers on, but my god, it's windy round on this point, so I don't think I'm going to bother. I think we're going to get back up on the cliff tops, boost round on the trail and get round into the bay, go and find a little bit of shelter, because my god, it isn't half windy. Just to make a point, the kind of wind that we're dealing with, so I'm walking over this bit. Of course the wind dies down now, doesn't it? But even so, it is ever so breezy, but it's a lovely little walk, quite rugged, a lot of ups and downs, steep paths, but absolutely spectacular nonetheless. I mean, this is the sort of place that you want to be looking for. So there's steps down to the rocks, you've got nice easy access all along there, some big ledges that you're fishing off and into. You can come around here, you can work light stuff around here, you can go on that ledge, you can go on that point over there, all easiest access, deepish water. Unfortunately, I mean, round here would be perfect for working them light lures and working the light gear, but it is windy as anything out on this point. So we're going to carry on a bit further around and possibly even try the back of the harbour. Right, well, here we are, back on the breakwater, as you can see behind me on the harbour wall. Like I say, not entirely certain that this is legal. I'll put that caveat in there. If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. The little rock marks back behind the camera that I wanted to fish, they are just snided with people enjoying the sun, enjoying, you know, the little secluded spots, hopping around in the rock pools and bits and bobs like that. So that's out of the question. However, I did debate going back to the heavy setup, but I brought the light setup, so I'm going to have a go with that. And if I show you what we've got, so it is, let me bring you for the rod first. So I'm still using the same reel. This is a BlackRock ultralight compact 7-foot rod, and that is rated to, does it say it on the rod? There we go, 0.6 to 8 grams. Now that is by far and away the lightest rod I will have ever used. And on the end of there, all I've got, look, is a little 3-gram jig head. I think they're a little Fox Rage thing, something or other. But I've just threaded that on there with a size 4 hook. And we're just going to have 15 minutes or so just flicking around here. It's for a bit of fun, see how this rod performs, have a bit of sport hopefully, and I may even just drop down in amongst these rocks and crevices just to see if there's anything lurking about down there. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop you on the head mount and we'll go and have a flick with this ultralight rod. Right, oh, let's make our way down onto this rock here, shall we? It's nice and stable. Hopefully it'll support my great ass. Just try and walk this around some of these ledges and see if there's anything home. Got a crab over there, let's see if we can entice him, shall we? No, he's not having it. Oh, he has, he's got it, snelled it. Grabbed hold of that well and truly. Oh well, that's probably the only sport we're going to get today. Hopefully you can see that on camera. Brilliant. Hola, you alright? Huh? You English? Yeah. How's it going? Terrible. How about you? You managed anything?
I had a Jack.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm on 11 species, 12 so far.
Oh right, okay.
How long have you been here?
Well, we've been here a week, but this is the first sort of 20 minutes I've been out fishing.
Oh really? What? I bet you've been going mad.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really fished along here, but right at the end there's all these massive concrete blocks.
Right.
These like huge things, and you've got to climb over them.
Yeah, yeah.
And in among is like huge gaps between them.
Yeah.
I've had a couple types of bream in there.
Oh, okay.
Loads of like bright red stuff like cardinals and Madeira rockfish.
Oh right, nice.
To fish anywhere really.
Yeah.
Other than inside marinas.
I found quite a nice deep mark, probably about 1.5 kilometres round. There's like a little track in the side of the hillside, and it's just a ledge. Fish is probably into 10 metres of water, and I spent maybe an hour around there this morning just with all sorts of different metals and weighted paddle tails and all sorts of stuff, and yeah, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, it's quite weird. The spots that look the most fishy seem to not really work.
Yeah.
The best I've had is basically just around all the beaches over there, weirdly.
Yeah.
Just casting out and drop shot and bringing it back in. For some reason, in the most boring looking spots where all the people are, as soon as the sun sets, it's almost like the fish moving or something.
Alright mate, take care, see you in a bit. There you go then, straight from the horse's mouth. Somebody who knows what they're doing with LRF fishing. Come back tonight. So I think what we'll do is we'll call it quits here. You've seen I've peppered around, nothing seems to be doing. It is almost 2 PM. It is plumbing hot. So I think we get back to the hotel, get to the all-inclusive, have a few beers, get some food in us, pop back out this evening. Right, we are back out. And when I say this is going to be a short session, it is going to be a short session. It is just coming up to 8 PM. I think officially the sun has set, but Jack's just gone to bed, and I'm going to try and sneak an hour in over dusk. So I don't think we're going to make it all the way back down to the harbour. As you can probably tell, that wind is picking up, but yeah, we're going to try and get down into the little bays, into the little crevices. I've got rid of the big setup, so I'm purely fishing with the light setup. Yeah, we're just going to go for it really. See if we can't get a couple of species before we head home in the morning. Let's get down there. I'm full of beer and food as well. Diet starts on Monday, guys. The diet starts on Monday. Anyway, it's enough whinging. You'll see me hot, sweaty, out of breath down on the rocks. Okay, we are down here. Like I say, I haven't bothered with the big heavy setup. It is dropping dark quick, sun's set, clouds moving in, the wind's picking up, so I have basically gone for luminous colours. So I think that weighs roughly about 3 grams. So I bumped into 2 guys who were walking the opposite way to me with fishing rods. Both of those said that they hadn't had any luck. There's 2 guys fishing just round the other side of the wall, they're ledgering. They both said they hadn't had any luck. There's a guy set up now over there. I haven't seen him have any luck. But there's plenty of people out fishing, so surely we've got to be roughly the right place. Maybe a little late, but hopefully the right time. So let's just have a few chucks around here. I think the plan for me is I'm going to move slowly around here off onto that point, and then as it drops dark there's a beach, like a sandy bay in there, and I'm just going to bump it back across the beach, fish that. Hopefully that'll get us an hour or so fishing, hopefully a few fish, but let's find out, eh? So just a nice steady retrieve for the first one. As always folks, feel free to drop it in the comments. I am by no means a seasoned, certainly not a seasoned LRF fisherman. I've been all over the world lure fishing and done okay in the past. But yeah, any hints, tips, as always, take them, because that's what fishing's all about. Learning off other people, making things up as you go along. trying new things, trying different things, different setups. Like I say, if I'd have had more opportunities this week, I'd have probably had to go with the lures, with the float, because certainly that seems to be the way to do it. So most of the locals float, either float or ledger. I know Donnie, who I bumped into earlier, hopefully you could hear some of the stuff that he was saying. I know on his Instagram story earlier he mentioned that he was using drop shotting, so that's another option. Obviously I'm using little jig heads and essentially lure fishing, so I think because we're going to lose the light quickly, what I'll do is I'm going to have no more than half a dozen casts on each mark. Half a dozen casts on each mark, and if nothing's happening, move 50 or 100 yards. Like I say, I want to walk round onto that point before it goes dark, then make my way off and head to a beach. Okay, so there's a load of divers going out just in the bay here, so I haven't bothered fishing anywhere else. And to be honest, it's pretty sketchy getting out from the platform across onto these bits, so I'm certainly not going to risk staying on here too long. There's a couple of guys coming and setting up over there actually, so I think I'm going to try and do, it's very, very windy as well, don't want wet feet just yet, is find a little mark that I can get onto and fish comfortably, maybe try and make a way through onto that end point there, fish into their mouth for 10 or 15 minutes and then head back, because like I say, we're going to lose daylight pretty quick, so bear with me, I shall bring you back somewhere else. Whoopa. Whoopa. Yeah, it's starting to get a bit sketchy, so I think what I'm going to do is possibly head over onto there, see if that's any better, and then if not, we'll head over onto the other breakwater, fish the back of that other breakwater, work our way around onto the beach and have a few flicks on the beach. At least when I'm on the beach, I know it's safe, we can get back and it should be fairly well lit from the strip as well. So let's go and have a go over there. What we need to do, hop our way across this lot, get back in one piece. It was pretty sketchy making it off them rocks. As you can see, it's, well, I don't even know if you'll be able to see anything now on the GoPro. It's pretty dark. All I'm doing at the minute is just, I've sent that jig head out, I'm just going to bump it across the beach, see if we can't find some little sand dwellers, either little gobies or lizard fish or flounder, dabs, any of them sort of species knocking about. Hey, there we go. There we go, look. Maybe you can see that. Oh, it's come off. It's come off. Right, well, that wind is pumping through now. It's a good job I haven't got much hair, because it'd have blown the rest of it off. Yeah, really struggled tonight on the very light stuff. Probably the wrong decision to make. I'm confident if I'd have brought the heavier gear out, would have probably got into a few lizard fish, bits and pieces like that. But yeah, that ends. Let me grab the bag before it blows away. Yeah, that brings an end to the Lanzarote trip. I've got a lot to learn on the LRF side of things, a lot to learn, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, if we'd have got out a few more times, I'm confident we'd have seen some nice fish, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. At the end of the day, if I hadn't brought the gear, I wouldn't have stood a chance. So hopefully you've enjoyed this little video. Like I say, I've taught you through the gear that I take with me, I've taught you through the setup that I use. yeah, it's really simple stuff. Like I say, it's no more than 2 kilos in your suitcase. It's accessible for all. You can fish from beaches, you can fish from rocks. As always, check the guidelines, check the rules, check the regulations of wherever it is you're planning on fishing before you go. And on that note, guys, there's nothing more for me to say other than get out there and enjoy it, and enjoy your summer holidays. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and tight lines.